Welcome to the WSL and welcome to Reading, a home side badly in need of a win up against a Tottenham side entering a key part of their season. Reading are in dire form at the moment, just one league win against the bottom side Leicester, and they've now won just one match in 18 in the WSL. Manager Kelly Chambers will be using all of her experience to try and get an improvement. She's been in charge now for 128 WSL games. Only Chelsea's Emma Hayes has managed more games with a single side. As for Tottenham, it's either win or lose in the league. Not a single draw so far this season. In their last away game, Rhian Skinner's team beat Brighton 8-0, which was also their only clean sheet of the season, and we can certainly expect some goals this afternoon. So we're just over 10 minutes away from kick-off here at the Select Car Stadium as Reading take on Tottenham Hotspur in the Barclays Women's Super League. Oh my goodness, alongside me in this very, very sunshine stadium is Anita Asante. We're loving this, aren't we? It's so lovely and warm, it's brilliant. But honestly, we're in for a lovely, lovely afternoon today in terms of what we've got coming up. We can take a look at the table here. Reading's only win this season against a team that's below them in the table. That was Leicester. They finished 8th for last season, but they seem to be finding it a little bit harder this time around, Anita.
Yeah, I think Reading have really struggled this season with the transitions. They've had newer players come to the club, players that have been at the club previously for a long time that really understood the way they played and the DNA of the team. So they've had to find new ways to adapt, and they've changed their system a lot this season as well.
They have changed their system, and as for Spurs, it's an interesting game for them. They've got a few fixtures that are coming up that actually could really push them towards challenging for some of those top places in the table. They've got West Ham, Everton, Villa, Leicester all next, but they need to be consistent.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for Tottenham if they want to challenge the top three, is that they find that consistency. But I will say they've played two less games than the two clubs above them. So if they can get a result today, that puts them in a really good position.
Okay, well, it's already been a busy weekend in the Barclays Women's Super League. The top three all already have been in action, and you can see here we've got a couple of games after this one today coming up. Liverpool take on West Ham United at 2 o'clock, and Manchester City, they take on Brighton at the same time as well. For here, though, we can hear from the managers. Both Rhian Skinner and Kelly Chambers have been speaking to myself. Rhian, bit of team news, any changes for you that you're happy about this week?
Yeah, I just think we've got a bigger squad this week, so that's been really positive for us, getting everybody back in a good position to play. So, yeah, we're looking good going into today.
Okay, based on patterns, win-loss, you're due for a win today. How should you approach this one?
I just think we've got to try and get some consistency, really. So, obviously, we're approaching the game in that we want to make sure we start really well and finish really well. And, obviously, Reading are a tough team to come and play here at this stadium, so we've obviously got to make sure that we're on it from the start today.
And that's the main thing, isn't it? Consistency with Spurs at the minute. And for yourself, how much are you driving that home to the squad?
Yeah, every day. Obviously we work on it in training. We're working really hard on key pressure moments to be able to get through those. And obviously it's important for the course of the league throughout the whole season. You've got to make sure that you're winning more consistently, and that's something we want to get into some momentum with, really.
The last game out, WSL game out against Chelsea, those 3 goals, they were all conceded quite early. How important is it that you avoid such a flurry of goals in the first half of the first half?
Yeah, I think it was difficult because actually we started the game really, really well, but we got caught out with a mistake, and we've got to stop giving away goals that are too easy, really, and presenting people with opportunities, which we've spoke about. We know that we want to tidy up on that, and obviously we want to try and make that better today.
Okay, well, good luck today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Kelly, hearing there's a nasty case of flu potentially running through the squad, has it changed the team much this week?
Yeah, it's hit us quite hard, if I'm honest. Obviously, we've lost Emma Mitchell, Rachel Rowe, Grace Maloney. Yeah, so it's hit us, which is tough, but it's football. We get on with it. But we've had to make a couple of changes from what we played against Southampton last week. So, but look, that's what the depth of the squad's about, and I've got no doubt that the girls can come out and perform today.
And just on that game, Southampton, it was a cup game, but it was a win and something for you guys that you need at this time. And how much does that help with confidence?
Yeah, definitely. I think over that week of games, what I saw is an improvement in performance, improvement in what we wanted to do, and building us as a team and growing confidence. And that's definitely, clean sheet was massive for us. But then obviously to get 3 goals on the scoreboard and get a win was really nice.
Up against a Spurs squad that's not necessarily that consistent, so actually you probably could take some chances today. How important is it that you drive that home to the girls?
Yeah, I think, look, it's about a performance today, and I think, look, we're stepping into a team that, look, we know that for us, an organised team, and it's going to be hard to break them down. But I think we've got some great qualities in our team that we can really cause some problems today.
Well, best of luck today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Interesting there listening to Kelly speak about the fact that there's illness running through the squad, and it's a massive impact, isn't it? You think about some of the names that are not present today, it's going to be challenging for them.
Yeah, they're missing key players. Obviously, she mentioned Emma Mitchell and Tasha Dowry, those players, but those are the uncontrollables. It's about character, the team pulling together, and the rotations of those players coming in having an impact. And today it's really important that they're hard to beat.
Yeah, but that does become a challenge. You know, some of those players are very experienced. They're able to galvanise. You know what it's like being somebody in the squad who needs to be able to bring people together, especially at this time. How important is it that the younger players are now stepping up and really showing that they can do this?
Well, it's an opportunity really for the younger players to step in, play with confidence, a little less fear as well, and show what they're about. And you know, Kelly Chambers is a very experienced manager, so she'll have the right kind of tools to sort of galvanise this team against the side, like we said, Tottenham, who have been very inconsistent this season.
Emma Harries is one we're looking at today, someone to watch as well. You know, only 20, but bringing so much to this squad.
Yeah, a young, talented player last season, I believe, made 19 appearances, was involved in 6 goal involvements, and you know, scored 3 goals. So, you know, she's an impressive player, and as you can see, she's heavily strapped there, came back from an ACL cruciate ligament injury. So hopefully today she'll have a massive impact, and she's a difficult player to meet. She stretches the game, she's got good physical strength as well, and hopefully will be a good focal point for Reading.
For Reading, in terms of not being able to be in a position where they're getting the wins, how challenging is it then? Does it become about the psychological aspect and the morale and making sure that they can actually go out there and perform?
Well, today is all about staying connected, being difficult to beat. You know, they're at home. This should be a fortress today, and hopefully Emma Harries is a top young talented player that they can really utilise as an outlet. But also in those moments when they can get forward, you know, commit numbers and try to create attacks, because they're also a threat in set piece situations.
Yeah, and on to someone you know very well in the Spurs squad, it's going to be Drew Spence. Now, Drew, of course, you know, such a big player for England, now plays for Jamaica. Don't blame her for cold. But for you, when you look at Drew and someone like Drew, you know, these 2 goals that she scored in that 8-0 win against Brighton, she's so impactful.
Well, that's a wonderful finish on her weaker foot there, and you see she's a sort of midfielder that can carry the ball, gain yards up the pitch for her team. She'll dribble, she can see her pass. She's also got loads of experience, won a number of trophies, obviously at her previous club at Chelsea, and actually loves scoring against Reading, you know, at her previous team. So today will be a great day for her to try and show that she can replicate that.
And she brings a lot to this squad, doesn't she? A squad that actually, like you say, they are inconsistent. They need to kind of start getting some back-to-back wins to prove and to challenge why they should be up there for some of those big places in the league.
Well, I always said before that, you know, Tottenham lacked a bit of creativity in their midfield. They had a very solid, disciplined side, but Drew can offer that. She'll get between the lines, she'll pick up the ball from the defence and try and carry it forward or find a forward pass. And they need a player like that can get them up the pitch, get them into positive attacking situations.
And we spoke very briefly about the fact that Spurs have got some really interesting fixtures coming up. How important is it for them to maintain the processes here, not think too far ahead and potentially where they could be as a squad?
Well, it's important they don't think about their win-loss pattern and actually, you know, really come here today and sort of take the game by the scruff of the neck from the start with intensity, because, you know, they're, like I said, they're only 2 games behind the teams ahead of them.
Yeah.
So today could see them, you know, shoot right back up the table.
In terms of Reading, they have been in a position. Look at that. I was just about to start talking about Reading, and then if Father Christmas pops up and everything gets distracted. But in terms of Reading, in terms of the shots that they, you know, people have been able to take against them, they hold the highest in the league. Spurs not so much. They actually don't shoot that much, so actually could be quite an interesting matchup today.
Yeah, it's a really good matchup for that, because that's the one area Tottenham will want to improve, creating more chances out in and around the box, and Reading obviously not shipping as many chances in and around the box, but they've conceded the most goals from headers, you know, a total of 9 goals from headers, so they've got to be much more disciplined when it comes to set pieces especially.
And in terms of, you spoke about the headers, you speak about the fact that about shots being on target from other teams, Reading have got a bit of a defence problem. That's something they need to think about.
Absolutely, and depending on what system they play today, they'll be looking to have, players that are going to harass and really swarm Tottenham in the midfield and make it difficult for them, not allow them to play forward quickly, and hopefully we'll see them, actually try to press quite high up the pitch.
And finally, Tottenham can't be complacent. I guess it can be quite easy to come against sides like this that they're struggling and think that you could maybe be a bit on the back foot, but not today.
Yeah, absolutely. They cannot be complacent because Reading know that they need to get a result today. So they'll be, approaching this game probably guns blazing and not trying to give Tottenham any opportunities to sniff that weakness.
Well, let's see how they go. It's time to say a very good afternoon to our commentary team, a former Reading legend that is Farrah Williams. She's alongside Tom Gale.
Thanks very much, Jeanette. Reading's final home game of 2022, and it's fair to say it's been a disappointing calendar year so far. Never mind an opening start to the season. One win in their last 18 WSL matches. But the beauty of football, it just takes 90 minutes to change your hopes for your team going into the new year. For Tottenham, optimism was high after last season's club best 5th place finish in the top flight. It's not quite matching those standards just yet, but any team who can put 8 past fellow WSL side Brighton, as Anita and Jeanette were talking about in the build-up, shouldn't be underestimated. So let's take a look at the teams. Reading looking to end a run of 3 without a win, as Kelly Chambers revealed flu spreading through the squads, which forced 6 changes following their 3-3 thriller here with Liverpool 10 days ago. So without the experience of Maloney, Rowe and Mitchell, so goalkeeper Jacqueline Byrne returns to the starting lineup following her red card against Aston Villa last month. Bryson Evans, Trossard, Wade and 20-year-old Emmy Harries, who wears the captain's armband. As for Spurs, they've never beaten Reading away in the league. Rhian Skinner makes 2 changes following the 3-0 defeat to champions Chelsea 2 weeks ago. Becky Spencer returns in goal, still looking for her first WSL clean sheet of the season. London-born Moroccan international Rosella Ayan gets her first league start this campaign. Defender Molly Bartrup joined Reading at the age of 10 and spent 6 years here as a pro before switching to join Spurs 2 summers ago. I'm alongside Lioness record appearance maker and the 2-time WSL winner Farrah Williams. On paper, Farrah, it's a tough ask for Reading. Kelly's revealed, obviously, flu spreading through the team, but is that, with all football, fringe players chance to step up and take your opportunity?
I think Reading and Kelly in particular would have seen this game as a game that they could potentially get 3 points from, and you've mentioned all of those experienced players that are out with flu, so I think that sort of hinders the opportunity for Reading to take points from this game. But they've got some great young talent coming through, and as you mentioned there, it's a great opportunity for some of these young players to take a claim within this team.
As for Spurs, are revealed there in the intro, 5th place last season. Expectations are high. They're not quite there yet, but it's a long old season. Them in particular, cancellations. They've only played 6 games of league football so far, so perhaps a while to them to get that consistency going.
I think so. I think they've got ambition. You've seen with the players that they brought in the summer, they certainly want to try and push for that 3rd spot. I still see them as a team that's a little way off of that top 3 position, but again, this is a great opportunity for them to pick up points, and as you mentioned there, they have those games in hand.
So the manager's Kelly Chambers, their 7th consecutive season in the WSL top flight, but they are struggling to match those impressive standards that they've set before. Injuries, and she started to get a settled squad in the last few weeks, but now flu to contest with. It is that time of year. But she was holding nothing back in terms of the pre-match interview she gave to Jeanette. She was saying, this is football, you have to get on with it and deal with it. And we are all set to get underway. The referee for today is Carl Brook from Sussex. Just making sure everyone is happy out on the field as both sets of players and staff take a knee. As football continues to show in this country, there is no room for any form of discrimination to get going. We are underway live. WSL football here for you. Neither of these sides have registered back-to-back wins this season. Both had comfortable League Cup wins last weekend. So can they carry that over into the domestic league campaign? What's key for Reading for you here, Farah, in terms of, you know, Spurs are looking at the team sheet, 6 changes. These would be here to go at. What do you want to see from Reading today?
I think we've seen the character in the league against Liverpool a few weeks ago, you know, able to come back into that game. It was a game they probably, you know, before would have lost. They managed to get the draw out of that game, coming from behind twice. So I think they'll take a lot from that. They won, as you mentioned there, the Conti Cup game against Southampton. So they'll have a lot of confidence coming into that. I know they've had a really good training week and they're looking forward to this game. So I think if they stick to the game plan, which Reading are very good at coming up with game plans, they'll give themselves a really good chance of getting something out of the game.
Spurs struggling to get the ball out of their own half, so it's going to be a Reading throw. Potential crossing opportunity. Naz working hard for Spurs. She does so, gets a toe to it in the first corner of the afternoon. No. Misread that one completely.
I thought it was a corner myself. I thought Naz got the last touch on it, but it looks to have come off Woodham.
So Becky Spencer, Rhian Skinner does like to flip-flop with her goalkeepers. So I think they're getting used to this rotation, certainly from a Spurs perspective. Opts to play out from the back, as we're seeing throughout football across the globe. And that's almost nice. Naz can't link up with a teammate there. Chance for Reading to put the foot on the ball and string a few passes early doors together. First touch for Burns. Mentioned in the introduction, got that red card against Aston Villa last month. We can only presume that Maloney is one of those struggling with flu. She's not in the squad whatsoever, and actually there's only 4 outfield players on the Reading bench. Naz with the interception. What's the mentality, Farah, when you've got a slim squad going into the games? No one wants to pick up an early knock, and you know that you don't really want to force anyone on the bench who may be still struggling to come out and play. Yeah,
I think it's, you know, as you mentioned, for the players that are playing, it's an opportunity to show that they can play at this level. The substitutes will see it themselves of, you know, maybe getting a chance in a game that they probably wouldn't have before. So I think they'll be excited to maybe have an opportunity to come on into this game and play WSL football.
Just having a look at the Reading shape there. They are playing a back 3, which is what they have been doing in the majority of their WSL games this season. So Kelly Chambers happy to stick with that system. It's just vastly different personnel. And they're struggling to really structure any form of an attack here. Spurs are doing well with their shape. It's actually Spence and Ayan leading the line for the visitors. But Reading look comfortable on the ball, Farah.
They do, and you know, when I played at Reading, they played a 4-4-2 diamond shape, and sometimes what it looked like, as you mentioned, there's a back 3. They allow their holding midfielder to drop into the back line, and they really push their fullbacks on really high and try and cause problems in wide areas. And you can see that how advanced both fullbacks are for Reading. And you can see where Havermart, it just sits in between the 2 centre-halves, and they're comfortable then. It gives them more options in possession of the ball.
And there's space here for Eichland to try and drive her side forward. Chops inside. Steadies things, keeps possession. But that's commentator's curse. They give it away, and chance for Naz to maybe stretch her legs on that far right-hand side. 0-0, still yet to have a shot on target. And that's well tidied up by Reading. Cooper looking for options, but keep ball seems to be key. Ball's moving nicely across this Reading home pitch.
I feel like there needs to be more movement in front for the 2 centre-halves of Reading. You can see here Harris is trying to stretch. I think it's an option that Reading could use and try and open up pockets for, we can see here Troesgaard getting on the ball. It's perfect movement there to get on the ball.
Good running off the ball from Reading, but Neville with the interception for Spurs, but it's not cleared. It's going to bobble in and around the edge of the box. Still not convincing from Tottenham. And the referee actually sees an infringement there. Yeah, I guess definitely, Farah, just a bit of lacking tempo, both sides at the moment. No one really wants to go gung-ho early doors.
Yeah, they do. I think I think we can just see here in the replay, high foot. I wouldn't have said as more Amy Turner heading down towards a bit of a cheap free kick, I would say, for Tottenham or Reading to give away. But yeah, I think, as I mentioned, both of these teams, Tottenham and Reading, you know, will believe that they can take points off of each other. And I think it's just a bit cagey. I think as the game develops and starts to open up, you'll start to see more quality. But Reading have certainly had the better of the quality in its opening, 10 minutes of the game, 5 minutes.
Yeah, definitely capitalising on it. Spurs' mistake there. Iron looking to win the ball back. Here's Spence battling hard in the centre of the field. Bypasses one defender. This is nice from Spurs. They are starting to play at that tempo that Farah's just been alluding to. As nice feet, draws the foul. That was nice play from Spurs. The first time we've seen them, Farah, string a few passes together.
Yeah, and in the final third, it was, you've seen Spence get the ball in midfield and find Ayan, and when she gets on the ball, she's a really good dribbler. You can see here, she just fakes the shot, cuts in the inside, and Evan gives away, a free kick in a really dangerous area for Tottenham.
Sumanen has stood over that. Finnish international. Everybody else has moved away. She got her first club goal of the season earlier this campaign. She's certainly not shaping to shoot, Farah. What do you think?
She isn't, but normally if there's just one of you from that distance, it normally would be a shot. Certainly if I was standing over it, I'd go for goal. It's at a nice distance for her to take a strike. I think she was just lining up her teammates in front of the wall to obviously give more distraction. I would expect a shot here.
Sumanen goes for goal, deflects up off the wall. Neville hooks it back towards the 6-yard box. It's still not cleared. Good block there. And eventually the referee's assistance flag is up for offside. There's a call for handball there, but I don't know what you think, Farah. Not clear on that replay.
Yeah, the replay doesn't clear it up, but certainly it's so close. And when you're taking a strike from that distance, it's really close for any of the wall to get themselves out of the way of it. They're there to block the ball, and it could have potentially hit the arm, but it certainly wouldn't have been, on purpose. It would have been accidental.
Nice triangles from Reading to get themselves out of trouble and beat the press. Here's Bryson, head up. He's looking down the line, but can't find a captain.
I think what this formation does for Reading, it allows more options for the player on the ball. It's just now about their execution and finding and making the right decision and executing the right pass.
It's comfortable for Reading. They'll be happy if Spurs are going to be reduced to shots from range. Evans goes back to a goalkeeper. And we say the wealth of changes in Reading's side, Farah, but there's still plenty of experience on that pitch.
Yeah, and certainly in the back line, which I think is important. I think, sometimes if the back line has less experience, you probably wouldn't get away with it. There's a lot of experience in that back line, certainly WSL experience. So I think that's what's helping them out today.
Spencer finds Neville, attempted the flick. Falls back to the Spurs wing back. Spence. Naz. Ball across the box. Looking the real precision. And that was late there from Neville.
Yeah, really late from Neville. For me, to make a tackle there on the edge of the box as an attacking player, I'm not sure it's necessary. See here in the replay. A little bit late, but yeah.
We are seeing the actual just slight skid across the turf there, so the wet surface for both players to be careful with. Neville getting away with one, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I would agree. As I said there, I don't think it's necessary for an attacker in that position to have to slide for the ball. Bryson was clearly going to get there before Neville.
Thankfully for Reading, Faye Bryson's able to get back on her feet. Referee Colebrook happy with just the free kick. And Reading are back underway. And that's a loose one from Burns. Spence was hovering dangerously in and around the 18-yard box. Can't be too casual here, Reading. Drew Spence, live wire in and around the box. Can't latch on to any mistake. But encouraging signs for Spurs that maybe with a back, you talked about the experience, but players who haven't played that much together in this system, Farah. Of course, they do it on the training field, though. Yeah,
I mean, Burns is one of those players that probably hasn't played in this team, and you know, the back four have been here for a couple of years now at Reading. So I feel as the ball went back to Burns, I think she could have slowed down the press from Drew Spence by just taking a touch before she played it. She played it first time. It's real risky when the ball's coming at that speed to play off one touch. So yeah, it was a risky for her to play off one. But I'd like to see, Spurs really press this Reading back line and see what they can do, because we've just seen there from an aggressive press, what might happen.
So yeah, certainly we prefer both sides to try and bring a lot more to the table in terms of trying to win the game rather than relying on mistakes. This is going to be Isle. Chance for her to look forward, but she goes back to a goalkeeper, Spencer, to Zadersky. Canadian picks out Ayan. Reading again come away with the loose ball. Shooting opportunity from range, and Spencer with the save off the bar. Oh no, it's an own goal! Absolute calamity at the back from Spurs. But we talked about showing a bit more positivity. Reading did that and got their just rewards, Farah.
They did, and it's come from a Tottenham mistake in the midfield, and it's Primer that's got onto the ball here. She just takes the opportunity to take a strike. Spence is slightly off her line. She takes a strike from distance. It's a good save onto the crossbar, and I think it's Turner that heads it into her own goal. Crazy. I mean, the communication there, if anything, she should have allowed for the keeper to collect it. Yeah, it looks like a bit of communication, but for Reading, they'll be happy with that, putting themselves 1-0 up. And they deserve the lead. I think they've been the better of the two teams in this opening 12 minutes.
Reading only won one game this season, and it's fair to say they've been gifted an early advantage here at home against Tottenham. Amy Turner, so experienced, both of them, between the two of them, Farah, Spencer and Turner. You would have thought one of them just needs to take control of that situation.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Becky Spence there, you could see as she striked onto the crossbar, she's trying to get herself back off of her line. I just think Amy Turner should have dealt with it better, and heading back towards your goal when you're that close, 2 yards away from goal. There's only one thing going to happen, and we've seen it there, an own goal.
I think we have to play a lot of credit, as you rightfully did, to Primer for just using that innate ability to drive forward. She's young, she wants to impress, took on a wicked shot. And you never know what happens. What we're going to see from this free kick that's half cleared, swung back in, and it was a Spurs head who was trying to direct it goalwards there. A strong start to the game from Reading, Farah.
Really strong start. They look like they have more of an identity in their style of play than what Tottenham do.
Once again, they're flying forward here. A couple of bodies to try and aim for. And keep the ball alive. Happy to go back and keep possession. Here's Bryson. It's a big pitch here for Reading. Trying to use all that space. And this is nice. Lovely flick on. Chance for a second. Keeper with the save. Oh, and the follow-up. I think she got her bearings all wrong there, Trosselgaard. But again, we're not sitting back, Farah. We're going to go for more.
They are. Reading have been really ambitious in their build phase. I think, they've built up the pitch really nicely. And you can see here, Trosselgaard dribbling towards goal. Hard and low. It's a good save from Spence. And it comes back to her, and she just swipes at it and completely misjudges the bounce. And it goes out for a goal kick. But again, it's Reading that are on the front foot, trying to create chances. And they're the more ambitious team out of the two.
So, Becky Spence's wait for another clean sheet is going to have to go another game at least. And she's going to have a busy afternoon, it has to be said, from what we've seen so far in this match. Reading, a goal to the good, an own goal to the goods. Amy Turner after 12 minutes. Burns. from a Spurs perspective, Farah, what do you think in terms of, you know, we haven't really seen that much from them coming forward yet, have we? And obviously now a goal behind, we're going to have to see something more from them.
We haven't, and I've seen a few of Spurs' games this season, and they've really lacked ambition in the final third and with the ball. You know, defensively last season, we've seen how good they were. They didn't concede that many goals. This season, they're conceding a lot more goals, but they're not being any more creative than they were last year. So I think with the players that they brought in, somebody like Drew Spence is a front-footed midfielder. I certainly think they should be using her qualities a lot more than what they have been.
Trossard with the heavy touch.
They've got pace Spurs certainly in the front line in Naz and Ayan. I think they should use that pace to really at least try and exploit this Reading backline.
Just getting the bearings all wrong there. Spurs looking completely out of sorts. They've been rocked by an early goal. It is a fixture that I think, given Reading's form, that Rhian Skinner would have been targeting as. Chance to pick up 3 points on the road. Long way to go. But as far as Rightford been pointing out, Reading looking good. Iona dispossesses. Naz is through if she can see that pass. It's just slightly delayed, and it does allow Reading chance to clear the lines.
Evans does really well there. She steps into play with the ball, does really well. I think she should have released it a little bit earlier. Was trying to claim a foul.
And Skinner, an assistant, Vicky Jepson. Problem solving at the moment. Seeing what their attacking players can offer up in the Reading box, and it's been very little so far. Nice. Spence. Patient build-up here from the visitors. Naz wants to take on the defender. Sends in the cross, but it's far too close to the goalkeeper. Situations like that, the final ball needs to be much better, Farah.
Yeah, for sure. And Naz is very, very good in 1v1 situations, and they're the sort of areas you want to get her in up against a fullback. But it was the end product, the delivery wasn't good enough, too close to the keeper. But it wasn't any, runners into the box. You had Ayan and you had Spence for Tottenham. Only 2 runners into the box. I think they need to certainly commit more bodies forward if they want to create any sort of chances from crossing areas.
Spurs go with a double team, and Naz comes away with the ball. Need to work a bit harder now, show a bit more grit. They're down away from home. Big stadium. I'm sure not many Spurs fans have made the journey. So far, they're seeing their team play second best to Reading, who are second bottom in the table, but not the performance we've seen so far would justify that. And back in possession in the centre of the park, looking out wide for Harries, but that's asking too much. So Kelly Chambers will be very impressed with what she's seen so far from a side, Farah.
She will be, and as you mentioned there, with all of those players out, experienced players out, it's probably a game that, should have rather somebody, they've got, they've got Chelsea next weekend. They'd have probably rather that this weekend and got players back for this game. But yeah, they're doing a great job, and 3 points is crucial for this team. And, with a fit squad, I think Reading would have took points from this game. But they've dominated the game, so clearly what they've been working on in training throughout the week has been good.
Referee just offing up a few words there to Van Havermaet as regards to the challenge that she's just dished out. Swiderski going cross-field. Ambitious attempts. Turner goes down the line, but that's hooked clear by Reading once again. Assistance flag is up. And I guess, Farah, for Reading, just stifling any Spurs momentum, because they are really struggling to play the ball together amongst their teammates.
They are, and I think they don't seem to have a clear identity in possession of the ball, Tottenham, and I think that's where they're struggling, whereas Reading is much more obvious in terms of what they're trying to do when they have the ball. So it's probably easier for Reading to defend it, because the movement is all in front of them, nothing really to stretch them and make them think what's going on behind.
I am one of those you would look to for the goal. She's cutting a frustrating figure at the moment, just having a few words with her teammates to say that's not what we agreed, that's not what we were working on. And once again, Reading nip in, take the ball away. Referee does see the foul, slows things up.
I think what needs to happen for Reading, whilst they're on top and whilst they're dominating, another goal for them. That's what they would need, you know, to go in at the half, just being the goal ahead. I think they'll be disappointed.
Reading free kick, played 20 minutes. That's nice, taking the ball at speed. Did look to flick up off a hand there, but play continues. It's going to be an option for a cross to be delivered in. And there's a potential penalty shout there. We'll have another look at that. Wow. Trosselgaard it was who went down. Take another look at that one. Referee Carl Brook happy for play to continue. What do you make of this one, Farron?
Well, from live play, I actually thought it was a penalty, but I think from the replay, you can see Trosgaard was waiting for contact. Contact didn't come, and she's already going down. So, yeah, if it was live, it was, I mean, great officiating. I think it was a really good decision. I would have given the penalty in live play, but I've had the slow down, and, yeah, can clearly see there was no contact.
It's Molly Bartrett, the former Reading player, who was closest to Trosselgaard. Ready. Trying to play in Harries, but she's in a bit of a wrestling match there with Zadersky. I'm just going to take another look at this penalty, Farrett, just to see if there's anything obvious.
Yeah, I just feel as Trosgaard takes it with her left foot, I think she actually clips her own foot before then falling down. I think Bartrett goes for the ball and actually takes her foot away. So, for me, no penalty.
Cooper clears down the line. So it does allow Reading the opportunity to move up a place in the standings with not only a win here, but the fact that Liverpool playing later on this afternoon. Ayo. Flicked on. Here is Turner, score of the own goal in the 12th minute. Naz finds Spence. This is nice from Spurs. They've worked it well. Crossing opportunity for Neville. She had a long time to think about that. Couldn't cut across the ball, and it goes out harmlessly for a goal kick.
They've done well, Spurs, to get it into wide areas. I just think with Neville on her weaker foot, out on the left-hand side, you know, she has to probably, in terms of her delivery, maybe take a touch, cut back in off her right to get a better delivery.
And go short of the goal kick, but then long with this next attempted ball. Trosselgaard, and he sees Harris. Captain with a head up, moving at speeds. Bartrett marshalling well. Spurs do well there. They were patient. And they can look to counter. Irons asking a lot of her there. Evans steps across well, but she's scuffed. The attempted pass back to the goalkeeper. Trosselgaard's attempted cushion header only finds Drew Spence, and that's a vital interception once again from Reading. Frenetic pace of the game in the last few minutes or so. Spurs starting to show they can believe a bit more now, Farah, though.
A little bit. I think they're playing forward a lot more quicker than they have done, I think, which is obviously causing a few problems for Reading in transition because they're out of shape, so it's more difficult for them then to defend it. So when they play quicker in those transition moments, they might give themselves a chance or at least an opportunity towards goal.
It's back with Spurs' goalkeeper, Spencer. She's looking for options. Goes for Neville, who does win the header. She's clattered late as well. Bryson. And called over by the referee.
It's right down below us that it looked like Bryson did go lead with an elbow. The replay will be interesting to see.
She is having a talking to. Looks as though she'll escape a yellow card. Let's have another look at the challenge.
Yeah, she certainly looks like she's led with her elbow. It looked like that from here. She's right beneath us, and yeah, I think she's got away with one there.
Certainly, I think both sides can argue that maybe we should have had a yellow card apiece here. But referee Cardrock happy to keep the game moving, letting things flow. And Spurs offer up from this free kick. Naz can't keep hold of possession. Spence has barged off the ball. Spurs do have it back though, through Naz. Looking for Spence, tried to play it on the outside of the foot. And then once again, it's Reading now who can look to counter. Nice touch from Evans. Looking for Harries. James finds Isle. Good control with the back to goal, bringing Spurs forward. Neville. There's a lot to do there. She's well marshalled, and it's a Reading throw. Tall figure of Van Havermaet. Hooks it clear. Harries. Spurs player went down off the ball there. Tressel-Gard running into a bit of a blind alley. Possession back with Spurs. Very bitty at times, Farah, in this game.
Yeah, I think it's just the quality in possession from both teams. I think early on, Reading were very good in those opening 10 minutes with their possession. I think as the game's gone on a little bit, both teams have, given real cheap possession away and causing their own problems.
Spence looking for Naz, who's using that good speed to her advantage, putting pressure on Gemma Evans, who concedes the corner. Go short. Bartrip back to James. Puts the ball in. But the assistant's flag is already up for offside.
Reading needed to be switched on from that set piece there, and they did it. They did well. They pressed the line up, and they've got an offside decision.
Spurs yet to really threaten the Reading goal. It's been a relatively quiet afternoon so far for Jacqueline Burns, the Northern Ireland international, who is, it's fair to say, the #2 Reading goalkeeper, but the absence of Maloney, she's been brought into the starting lineup. Bryson with the flick on. It's nicely played by Reading to come away. Once again, great outlets in terms of speed, movement of the ball. And once again, they stretch the pitch awfully wide, send it in, and it's sent from Harries. It's off the bar once again for the second time in this match. Reading rattle the frame of the goal, and it's credit to Becky Spencer once again.
It's a great opportunity. It's Woodham that carries the ball from really deep areas. She's done this really well in this opening 25 minutes. Carries it out, plays it into a wide area, and Primer puts a great delivery in. And Emma Harries, you can see here, side foot volley. And Becky Spence manages to tip it onto the crossbar. It's a great save. I believe she should have tucked it away though, Emma Harries.
Further encouraging signs for Reading, but they're defending now as Tottenham looks to come forward. Asking a lot of James, but she's got the pace to get there. Needs support. Tries the back heel, doesn't come off. Ball rolls harmlessly out of play. So, one club, Reading. Paul Ince, manager of the Championship men's team. He's here, lending his support, and I think it's fair to say, Farah, be pretty impressed with what he's seen in the opening half an hour from the home team.
He will be. They've certainly put a great display on for the men's first team coach or manager to be here and see. So, yeah, it'll be pleasing for him. And it's nice to see that, there's a support there from the men's side. I know that, having been at Reading, that they are a club that are together. They train together at the same time. They eat at the same time. So it's really good to see him here supporting the women.
Van Heelmalt under pressure. Lots of these Reading players so comfortable on the ball. Bartrip reads the run well, steps across, clears the danger. Bryson comes in field. Look to be a foul there. Play continues. Naz uses her body well to regain possession for Spurs. Turner. To Naz. It's not really an obvious outlet, is there, for Spurs? You can see they're looking for someone who can get them up the pitch, and they're really struggling to find that pass at the moment. And the gifted possession to Reading once again. Harries wants it inside. It's made its way to the Reading captain. She's got a lot to do. She wants a free kick. Play continues. Bryson. Good cross. Well defended. Still a shooting opportunity. Oh. Amy Turner stepped across, did her job well. Excellent play once again from Reading, Farah.
Yeah, and I said before, it didn't look like Spurs had a clear identity in their build phase. There's a good cross here, you can see from Erkland. I thought Wooden was going to hit it first time as it comes. She actually slides a beautiful pass to Primer, who, right-footed. I thought she'd have took it on the right foot and bent it, but she's took it off her left, and it's a great block from Amy Turner.
Naz, Ayan. Space out left to Neville. Ball makes it there. Wants to cut on her right. Deflected. Had the goalkeeper worried. But the first real positive counter move that we've seen from Spurs all game.
Yeah, and it comes through Neville. And I said that she's much better on her right foot, and she's more narrow in the pitch there, so she's able to touch in on her right foot and get a strike away. It's a great block and deflects out for a corner.
Simanen trudges over to take Tottenham's corner. Their first from over that far side, second of the game. He went short with the previous attempt, but it looks as though the Finn is going to send this ball into the box. It's a good cross, and Spence was attacking it. She's still going to have another chance, is she? No. It's well defended by Reading. Good first touch there by Isle to maintain Spurs' momentum. Bartrip's closed down. Primer can't turn. It's with James. Gets a head up, looks for the options. Again, the Reading back line standing firm, and Bryson gets there. First Trussell guards will keep the ball in play. Bryson clears it. Can't find a teammate there. It's a testing return ball there from Isle, which Becky Spencer, showing off her own footballing technique, was comfortably able to gather. That's a nice flick on from James. Spence in space. Sends it back to a Welsh teammate. Heavy touch though. Referee saw the foul. Spence wants to play on.
I think for as much as, Spurs have struggled in possession to find passes, I think got to give credit to what Reading are doing defensively. I think they've been fantastic. Certainly getting bodies around the ball real quick to make it really difficult for Spurs. You've seen there, it was Primer on a blindside press. He's obviously given away the free kick, but I think their press and counter press has been really, really good.
Molly Bartrip stood over the set piece. Good delivery, and that's excellent defending. Still not cleared the looping header. Turner trying to make amends at the other end. But we are starting to see, certainly from those set pieces, Farah, that this may be Spurs' most obvious way back into the game.
Yeah, set piece is always dangerous. You can see here, it's a big long ball into the box, and the first header isn't cleared, and it gives Amy Turner a chance at the back post. I think Woodham does just enough to put her off, and she heads over the bar. but certainly a way back into the game could be through set pieces for Spurs.
Spurs starting to get a few more touches on the ball and win a few of those second balls, but as I say that, it's Reading who look to try and thread the pass through. Turner under pressure, does well. Samana looking for Spence. Ayan, through ball to Spence. Still work to do. Opted to pass it square to Neville. Still a shooting opportunity, is there? Excellent defending by Reading. I don't know what you think, Farah, but for me, Drew Spence should have pulled the trigger there.
Yeah, I agree. I think here, there's only one, I believe, one option for Drew Spence. I think Faye Bryson's blocking off the pass across goal to Neville, and you know, on another day, I know Drew Spence would have took it past her and probably hit. But it's probably the confidence because Spurs aren't playing that well.
Trosselgaard does well. Bulldozer in a way through. Harries is forced slightly wide. Tries to lay it off. Turner sees her attempted clearance. Find a Reading shirt, but James can tidy things up. But no, Bryson's working well here. Sends in another good delivery. Header there for Harries. Oh! You have to say, the balls in from wide positions from Reading this afternoon have been excellent.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've been very good. There's the press I was talking about. Erkland, you see, you know, aggressive press on the ball. It allows for Faye Bryson to come up the pitch, and it's a great cross. And Emma Harris, how she hasn't scored in this opening half, I'll never know. But it's a great header, and it just loops over the crossbar.
20-year-old has the captain's armband on, and she's leading by example. She's been at the fore of most good things, attack-minded from Reading, and she's working hard here to try and win the ball back. This could be a massive result for Reading if they can come away with all 3 points with a depleted squad, just to really help with their momentum. And just using any opportunity they can just to take the time, don't let Spurs get back into the game. But Spurs are beginning to show. We talked about maybe Drew Spence lacking a bit of confidence, but they are beginning to create a bit more, Farah.
Yeah, they are slightly. I'd say slightly, because I do believe Reading's defensive qualities today have been very good. I think they've worked together as a team. You talk about all those changes. They've had to come together and work hard. I think the players that are out there, you know, players that probably not as good as the starting players, but certainly players that are honest and want to work hard for each other. And you can see that in all their commitment they're giving in this first half.
Bryson's throw, looking for Trosselgaard. Spence manages to half clear it. Zadersky scuffs her attempt. Neville has time. All she can do is find a Reading shirt. That's nicely done by Bryson in field, but Van Havermaet gives possession back to Spurs. We've got just over 7 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. Still, Amy Turner's own goal separating the sides, and Trosselgaard's done well there to win the ball back in a battle with the aforementioned Turner. It is a decision which goes Tottenham's way. They take the free kick quickly. Ayo. Options down the middle and left. Neville dragging out Bryson. You can see she favours that right foot. Bryson did well there, showed her down the line. She didn't want to take it. And here come Reading on the canter. Harries, Bartrip tries the trick. Shooting opportunity on her left, well saved. She did well there, difficult chance. She didn't want to take it on her left, Farah, but once again she's working the goalkeeper.
She is, and it comes from, you know, Neville playing a poor cross or cut back on the edge of the box. Trosgaard finds Emma Harris, who stretched the play well. She cuts in on her left foot. It was just a little bit weak, too weak, and it was too close to the near post. You could see Wade join in and throws her arms out. She probably wanted a little slide pass from Harris, but it's another opportunity for Reading that they've missed.
Tottenham once again looking rattled, ball finding touch. Almost hit Jeanette Quatchy there, needs to be a bit careful. Bryson with the throw. It's over the shoulder. Comfortable bounce. Zadorsky acknowledges that she just had to find touch. Reading throw to be taken by Bryson. Gets it back, did well to bring that ball down. It was fizzed into her chest, but Reading possession short-lived, and that's an excellent tackle there by Cooper. Ion stayed down, clutching her ankle. Play continues. Turner does well under pressure. That's nice from Spurs. Naz. Once past too many from Tottenham, but again they win a loose ball. Naz, nice dribble. It's back with the Tottenham forward. Neville. Ion, Moroccan international, London-born. That's a lovely ball across to James. Spence thought about the shot, took a touch, and that just allowed Woodham space to close down, put in the block. Maybe is it that confidence back? Someone just to hit it first time, to take a bit more of a risk, believe in themselves a bit more.
Certainly when you're in that 18-yard box with time on the ball, you'd think that you'd want to shift the ball out your feet and get a shot away, and Tottenham haven't opted for that today.
This is nice though from the throw. Spence sat up for the half volley. Bryson under pressure from Neville. Neville's done well there, battling hard, so too Bryson though. Clears the lines, the full-back. And Havenard has time just to slow things down. Space, is there, over that left? There is, but there's no Reading player inside. Spencer. Ian can't flick it on. Spence had made the run. Once again, it's comfortable for Reading. Jacqueline Burns uses all the time she could. Ion stayed on the deck. Ian stayed on the deck even. Bryson's down 2. How do you feel, Farah, when your goalkeeper wants to take a few extra touches when you've sent a ball back to her?
You know what? Sometimes you need the goalkeeper to slow it down. I think the problem here is Burns is left-footed and it's taken on her right foot, so it's an uncomfortable strike, as you can see there. Cooper does well. It falls to Cooper's feet. I think she does really well to control it, and I think she could have been a little bit calmer there in possession of the ball.
So we're in the 43rd minute and Tottenham are still yet to work Jacqueline Burns. Summer signing, playing a football over in Sweden. He's had just the one WSL opportunity prior to today. Obviously, she's getting accustomed to playing with the ball at her feet. You know, it's a different philosophy here at Reading.
I think you could see there, here's the Bryson Neville. It's been a really competitive battle down this. Oh, it's actually Spence catches Bryson's toe. But going back to the burn, like you just saw Gemma Evans saying to her, she was asking what was her option. She said, just clear your lines. I think sometimes, you know, we have to clear our lines and not overplay in areas like that, and certainly not, you know, a couple of minutes before the half. You don't want to make a mistake and go in, you know, level at the half.
Bryson in no hurry to take the throw. Aside her a goal to the goods. On course for a really valuable 3 points at the back end of 2022. Their last home game, Reading here. And as Jeanette and Anita were discussing in the build-up, it's it's WSL. It's tough week in, week out, but they've got a real rough run of fixtures coming up, so 3 points today could be huge. Naz trying to change things from a Tottenham perspective. Ian offers support. Patient from Tottenham. Crossing opportunity for Naz, and she goes near post. She did awfully well there. She had to really put on the afterburners even to make that ball. Neville made the gamble at the near post, but she couldn't tuck it away.
Best opportunity for Spurs. They're still on the ball here in the attacking third.
Ian, edge of the box. They back off. She tries to bend it, far corner. Still yet to have a shot on target.
Yeah, and just going back to the ball across the box from Naz, I think you can see here, Naz does really well to get in behind here and put one across. It's a great delivery, flashes across the 6-yard box, but as I said before, they're not committing Spurs enough bodies. He had one runner to the near post, and that was Neville, who's a wide player, but they had nobody else coming in off the back post. So it's an opportunity that they could have, got more from had they committed more bodies.
Just the 1 minute of added time. It's quite an unfamiliar sight for anyone who's been watching the Men's World Cup and seeing just 1 minute pop up at half-time, but this is how we roll in the WSL. Spence gets in the way there as Simonen tried to play the ball over the top. Turner under pressure, Bartrib. Reading do well to beat the press, and referee Carl Brooks just got a few words to say to Drew Spence there. I think she's continued dialogue with him after the ball's gone on.
Be interesting what he does here. I'm sure he's going to give maybe is it a drop ball for Reading if he's pulled up?
He is just ushering the Reading player away.
Interesting.
Strange decision to stop the play just to have a word with the player, but well, that is all we have for the first half. Conversations continue between Carl Brook and Drew Spence, but an early own goal from Amy Turner, after it has to be said, an excellent shot from Primer. Spencer touched it onto the bar, and the Spurs defender, miscommunication, suffered the embarrassment of heading into an empty net. From what we've seen, a justifiable lead at half-time, Farron.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Reading will be going in the happier of the two. I think for Spurs, they'll be going in thinking themselves lucky to only be a goal down at the half, and they can have a conversation in there at half-time and come out with a new game plan. I would imagine that Vicky Jepson will probably want to match them in terms of formation when they come out in the second half.
So half-time, Jeanette, Reading 1, Tottenham 0.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Farah. When we look at that and we talk about the inconsistency with Spurs, Reading have really capitalised, Anita, today.
Well, everything I said about Reading, they've done. They came out guns blazing, lots of intensity, in and out of possession, and they've had the better chances. They'll be ruining the fact that they haven't scored more goals.
Absolutely, and it's a good thing because, we spoke at the start, the team have been riddled with flu, but what we've seen is some of the players really stepping up and showing that they have got the capability to be able to do it here.
Well, Emma Harries, who spoke about earlier, 20-year-old captain, stepping up today, created some incredible chances for Reading, but she, leading from the front, really good in the counter press as well to try and win back balls higher up the pitch for Reading, and they've really dominated this first half.
They have indeed, and an own goal from Tottenham. Oh my goodness, of course they're going to be super frustrated about that, but it's a way for Reading to really think, right, we can attack this game and move forward with this now.
Yeah, well, as you see, it was started from Tottenham's build-up play deep in their half. Zadorski picks up the ball, tries to play a pass into the middle, in the midfield, and it's turned over, and Reading pounced on that. That's a wonderful strike from Primer, and a fingertips save from Becky Spencer, but there's a miscommunication there between Becky Spencer, the goalkeeper, and Amy Turner, and the first player to react was a Reading player, which leads into the goal, and they deserved it, I think, for the intensity in their press, all over the pitch.
Yeah, she really does try to clear it, but unfortunately for her, that goes into the back of their own net. And for Reading, of course, when we look at some of the shots that they've been able to take in this game, this really set out the stall, didn't it?
Well, we've seen a number of, another shot just like that where Becky Spencer's had to try and make a fingertip save, and you're almost wondering what's the reaction of Tottenham players. You've had one warning shot, can you get around your keeper, protect her more, get clearances? But Reading have shown, complete intensity, purpose in everything they're doing, in and out possession, and they've been deserved of to be a goal up.
When that own goal went in, the first thing I looked at you, I said to you, wow, this is going to be really tough to be able to kind of get back from that. You're a defender yourself. You remember how challenging that can be. How quickly do you have to get over that?
Well, these girls, they're professionals. This is part of the game. Now it's about them going at half-time, looking at the game and going, we know we've got another level in us. How can we find a way back into this game? And towards the end of that half, Tottenham were much better. They started to create more. They got a couple of crosses in wide areas and in and around the box. But they have to be more decisive in those moments. We saw a chance with Drew Spence as well, where she opted to try and pass instead of shoot. So those are the sorts of decisions that get you back into a game like this.
Yeah, but then they've got own goal, of course. Sometimes it can rattle a squad. Their mistakes can be made, and there was that potential penalty that we saw earlier on in the game as well, with Bartrip potentially fouling here. Is this, it wasn't given, but was it a penalty?
Again, it's a cross into the box, and Sané Trollsgaard is able to get, she is able to control the ball in the box first and foremost. And I think she tries to be savvy here. She's waiting for that contact in order to go down. But for me, that's not a penalty. I don't think Bartrip makes enough contact there for that to be a clear and obvious error there. So, they were lucky, again, because she could have asked a question of the referee as well in that situation.
We're looking now at Tottenham and their way back into this. You heard in comms with Tom and Farah speaking about set pieces being the way back into it for this Spurs team. They're going to have to do something different in the next half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, they've got to get themselves up the pitch and secure the ball better. They've not been as good in possession in the attacking third. And from corners, they want to be the ones making second contact. They had a couple moments where they got second contact. But it's credit to Reading, really. The defending all over the pitch has been superb, especially in and around their box. They're fighting for every ball, and they're making clearances, and that's making it tough for Tottenham.
And we can take a look at this Naz cross just towards the end of that first half. Spurs did, again, have another chance, as you were saying here, but unable to just capitalise.
Well, we know the threat that Naz poses. She's good going 1v1. There you see her speed and her pace to get that cross in. And Neville tries to opt for a cheeky back heel, which he misses. Yeah, again, another moment where perhaps you just try and concentrate on getting first contact. Can you work the goalkeeper? And Tottenham have not worked the goalkeeper today enough.
Yeah, but one thing we did say about this game as we were watching pitch side is the pace of it. They have gone back to back. You've seen it. It's been a really exciting game. And what we're seeing from Reading, maybe we haven't seen before, they're playing with a sense of urgency.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for Reading, they'll be really pleased with the way they've approached this game, because they're playing quickly out the back. They're utilising the wide area and able to get numbers up the pitch. And I think it's kind of stifled Tottenham a little bit, maybe shocked them, the intensity at which, or the pace at which the game is being played.
Look at that. Look at this. Christmas is on the way. You can see that, Anita. It's cold, but they're looking good. They look warm. They look happy. It's a good time here in the Select Car Stadium. The top three in the WSL, actually, at the start of the weekend, they were all in action yesterday. So we can actually bring you the best of that. We're going to start with Manchester United against Aston Villa.
Toon. Here's Badger, she'll put it in first time. It's a good ball. Russo trying to turn it in, and eventually Katie Zellum does just that. Manchester United ahead, and on a landmark occasion for Katie Zellum, her 100th appearance in the WSL, she gets a gift. Hampton couldn't hold on, and Zellum couldn't miss. Russo laid off for Toon. Bolton trying to time her run right. She's done that, and she scored. United 2 up. We've not played for half an hour yet. Leah Galton just about onside. Good play from Russo and from Toon. Lehman. Here's Kenza Dali. Nice reverse ball, good cross as well. Daly's missed it, it's come through for Freya Gregory. And Earps manages to shovel it behind for a corner. Best we've seen from Villa. Ladd. Here's Paris. Down the line for Toon. Across for Russo, 3-0. Really well-worked goal from Manchester United. And Alessia Russo's got 3 in 3 in the WSL for the first time. Her old mate Toon teeing her up. Zellum. Lehman's managed to dispossess her. She's got options as well, Alicia Lehman. She's gone for it herself. And Earps was equal to the effort. 1 back by Lehman. Right on target too. Badier. Puts it back here on your Badier. She's going to have a thump. What a goal. 4-0. That's the pick of the bunch from the Spaniard. Her first of the season in the WSL. And it was worth the wait. Blundell. Galton. Patton's challenge. Referee's given the free kick, but Galton put it in. Oh, if she played the advantage there, Louise Sanders, Galton would have had a second of the game. And she's admitted her mistake. Galton frustrated. Luckily, it wasn't 0-0 at that point. 3 minutes of stoppage time were signalled, and they are almost up. Might be time for a 5th goal, though. Here's Badier looking to turn provider, and a tap in for Rachel Williams just off the bench to get her first league goal of the season. And Manchester United's 5th of the afternoon, a comprehensive victory.
A comprehensive victory indeed. You can see it there, Manchester United 5-0 there against Aston Villa. Arsenal also in action yesterday, 1-0 against Everton. And then Chelsea away at Leicester City, 8-0. Wow. So 2 more games later on today, as you can see there. Liverpool, they take on West Ham at 2 o'clock. And Manchester City and Brighton at the same time. All the goals, all the highlights a bit later on the Women's Football Show. Anita, it's a really interesting race now at the top of that table, because what we're seeing is Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal and Manchester City all in the position to really, really strike for those top places.
Yeah, absolutely. It's making it more exciting and interesting for all of us. But it shows that they're really pushing on this season. You know, they got a great result away to Arsenal, and I think they've carried on that momentum. They're looking ruthless in front of goal as well. And
a key game for them is going to be next week. They've got the Manchester Derby, Manchester City, Manchester United is going to be at the Etihad. How important is it there that both of those teams, they're at full strength, they understand the assignment when they're going out on the pitch?
Well, there's been a lot of question marks asked of Man City, you know, can they compete with the top 3 this season? So they'll want to set the stall early, especially at home. But Man United, I think they've got the momentum with them. They've got multiple goal scorers, as we've seen, and their goal is to get Champions League. So this is an important match for them.
Yeah, and they're very organised as well. But when we talk about the depth of these squads, you know, who, in your opinion, sits at the bottom in terms of what they're able to bring out as the rest of the season goes on?
Well, I think the major difference, if you look at a Chelsea or an Arsenal or even a Man United, there's a lot of players there now who have been there a while, so they already understand, you know, their identity, how they're trying to play, whereas Man City have had so many key players leave. This season's all been a lot about learning and building those relationships.
Well, we'll look forward to next week when we get down to Manchester, the Etihad. Like I say, all today's goals will be on the Women's Football Show. That's on BBC One at 11:30 tonight. That's with me, in fact, so you get a double dose of me. Before that, though, there is a small matter of France against Poland in the last 16 of the World Cup. Coverage of that on BBC One from 2:30. And then next Sunday, as we mentioned, we're back with this.
It's not any day, folks, it's Derby Day.
has found the winner! Fabulous from Chloe Kelly.
Manchester City versus Manchester United in the Women's Super League, live next Sunday at 12:15 on BBC One and iPlayer.
So Kelly is in a really interesting position, Kelly Chambers, in the fact that she's talking to her team now. They're up, they're ahead. It's important that they understand that for them, pushing forward now is really key in this second half.
Well, it's maintaining the kind of intensity that they started with and having quality, you know, throughout the thirds, but especially in front of goal when those opportunities arise, being clinical, because they've really attacked their game plan, have executed it perfectly, and it's just about consistency now.
In terms of their bench, though, it's going to be a challenge for them. Like we know, the flu has really gone through their squad. How important is that going to be now for this second half?
Well, you know, hopefully the team, they feel the confidence. You know, they've created a lot of chances this half, so they're just going to go out and approach it the same way. So, you know, you're seeing the subs now warming up, and they'll know that if they get the opportunity, can they come in? Can they make an impact? And there's a lot of young players, and you're seeing it. Emma Harries, like we said, primer, making a difference to this side, and these players also might have an opportunity to.
But that's also really encouraging, though, isn't it? I guess when if you're on the bench and you're seeing your young players out there that are doing a great job, then it actually, for you, really spurs you on. If you do get that moment, you can come on and can make a difference.
Definitely, and I think we spoke earlier, I think Emma Harries was an 8-year-old with this club. So they're producing young players coming through the setup, and they'll be seeing this game now going, you know, wow, the way they're playing with confidence, they're making an impact in this team. They want to be able to do the same.
And in terms of Spurs, we spoke earlier about them getting a way back in. We heard Tom and Farah speak about set pieces, but what do you think Rihanna said to them in that changing room now?
Well, I think Rihanna will be saying, you know, especially in their build-up play, can they be a bit more secure in the final third and in midfield areas, be tidier in possession? And when they get into those crossing positions, are you able to pick someone out or hit the space early so that you get a better opportunity to test the Reading goalkeeper?
Well, let's see what they can do in this second half. I can hand you back to your commentary team this afternoon. It's Tom Gale and Farah Williams.
Thank you very much, Jeanette. So really interesting game we've got here with the second half still to play. Reading, who've been struggling for results all season, it has to be said. Just that one solitary win, and that was against Leicester, and with all due respect, everyone is beating Leicester this season, but this is more of the side that we've come to recognise under Kelly Chambers, despite the flu running right through the squads. And Diane Caldwell is one of those changes. She was dropped down to the bench, so I'm not sure on her complete match fitness, whether she was struggling with a little bit of symptoms or she's okay, but she's on in the second half to replace Deanna Cooper. As for Spurs, they were the more fancied coming into this, especially when we heard about that news of Reading being depleted without a number of very experienced players. And until the final closing stages of that half, they barely threatened Jacqueline Burns' goal. So from a Spurs perspective, Farah, what do you think the main feedback would have been from Rianne Skinner?
I think they have to be more competitive. I didn't think they showed much, you know, aggression in their defensive attitude towards first and second contact. So I think certainly they have to up their intensity, and I think they have to get the ball forward a lot more. I would imagine they'll try and match this Reading shape in the second half, but we'll look and see how it goes in the second half.
Tottenham are yet to come from behind this season in the WSL. It's been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And their 3 wins in each of those games, they scored the first goals. So it's time for someone to step up and offer up a bit of magic of what has been a relatively flat performance so far, it has to be said. Spence with the flick on. Zadorsky. Isle helps her out, clears into touch. Bryson, who's had a busy game so far. Looking for a captain, Harries, who gets the flick on. Not sure if that was an attempted lob cross. Either way, it's back in the comfortable grasp of Becky Spencer. And immediately we're starting to see Farah's as Spurs just trying to move the ball that little bit more quicker, just a lot more zip to their passing.
Yeah, already we can see that. I think what Spurs have to do, when you're playing against a narrow diamond, which is what Reading play defensively, you have to get an early switch on. I don't think Spurs were able to do that as effectively in the first half.
Spence finds Iron driving forwards. And the Moroccan helps win the first corner of the second half. Just immediately we see there just a real bit of positivity from Drew Spence. Holds off a player, threads through a pass. Spurs are at the other end of the field.
Yeah, already maybe trying to test Caldwell coming into the game. Cooper had an excellent first half, and it looks as if she's come off through illness, which we spoke about. The team's been, you know, it's gone right through the team, so that's why she's come off. So they're just testing down that side, it looks like.
James with the corner. Welsh international. Goes near post. Spence, second bite of the cherry. Oh, she should have done better there. We should be all level early in the second half.
Wow, we said Spurs could get themselves back into the game for a set piece, and Drew Spence with her qualities, it misses the near post and it comes back to her, and normally she would smash that in the back of the net. She'll be disappointed with that. That should be 1-1.
She knows it. She knows it. Quick 180 turn. It is a snapshot, but the Jamaican international should be finding the back of the net, but so far they still trail to that goal scored by Amy Turner, an own goal in the 12th minute. And don't for 1 second try and think I'm trying to make out this has been a smash and grab from Reading. They have constantly worked Becky Spencer in the Tottenham goal, but there's been a turnaround certainly in this opening stages of the second half. Spurs showing so much more positivity, but Neville frustrating herself there, I think, and in her inability to try and bring things away. And here's the Reading captain, Harries, dragged out wide. Back with Harries. Trying to disguise the pass, but it was well read by the Spurs defender. Nice bit of technique there from Neville, reciprocated by Spence. Ayan, Rosella Ayan. What can she offer up? She's waiting for support. Tries to play it through to Naz. Just no real conviction whatsoever there, Farah.
There wasn't, but she's on her own again. As I mentioned in the first half, they seem to have the same problem in the second. Although they're breaking clear, Ayan's in the box with no support. You can see Drew Spence trying to catch up and Naz, but she's got no one to pass to. So unless she goes solo, she has nothing else she can do.
Turn it in firmly. Spence trying to roll the defender. She felt as though she had done. Referee disagrees. But warning signs for Reading, because Spurs are a lot more at it in this second half.
They're certainly more front-footed. They're looking to be more aggressive in their attack, and we could have an exciting second half.
Rhian Skinner constantly assessing the situation out there. The most important thing is the scoreline, and Reading are looking to add to it. That's a good delivery to the back post. Once again, crediting that delivery. You're just nodding alongside me, Farah. It's been excellent all afternoon.
It has, and it's been the difference for both teams. I think the deliveries for Reading in wide areas, you can see here Woodham touches the ball out of her feet. It's a great delivery right in between the back line and the goalkeeper. Does the keeper come? Defenders have to deal with it, and I feel Emma Harry should have made more of that and been more aggressive with their run at the back post, but a great delivery. An opportunity now for Reading with a set piece.
Harries and Wade can have no complaints about the service they've had this afternoon, and particularly Lily Woodham, Welsh international, doing her bit, and she's headed over to take Reading's first corner of the second half. Goes near post. Harries does well to keep it in play. Bryson battling. Flicks up off Neville's heads. Ayan wins it back for Spurs, and that's a ball out wide by Zadirski. Spence. James. Just see Drew Spence just dictating what she wants other players to do, and this is really good football from Tottenham. One pass too many, though. Looking for Wade, trying to get in round the back. Tottenham regain possession back.
Yeah, you can see at times Drew Spence playing a little bit frustrated. Sometimes she's thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead of her teammates, and chance here.
Ayan, but the flag is already up.
Yeah, going back to Drew Spence, I think she, you know, playing with a team like Chelsea and the teammates and calibre of players she played with for 10 years, you know, you can see there's a slight bit of frustration when she plays in the Spurs team because she's seeing things ahead of her teammates. But certainly a player, if you can get her on the ball and start to dictate, can cause many of problems. She
is certainly standing out in terms of being the most creative option that Tottenham have going forward. Was on the score sheet, as many of her teammates, in that 8-0 demolition against Brighton. But I guess it's these games, arguably, where they're tight and they need someone to make a bit of a difference that certainly Rhian Skinner will be imposing upon Drew Spence to try and show more. Harries for Reading. It's the check back. Bryson, good ball in once again. Trossel-Guard back to goal. She's patient. Oh, and that could have ended up in the back of the net once again. I think it's Wade who knew very little about it, other than I need to get in amongst this.
Again, I don't know how this hasn't gone in. It's a great ball in from Bryson. Trosgott does really well, just shifts it, hits it hard and low, and Wade just, Becky Spence, does really well there to get there and put off Wade, but another opportunity for Reading. I think the difference is when the ball's in wide areas for Reading, they have players to hit in the box. There's bodies in the box, they can hit it first time because they know they've got runners committing. And then when you look at Spurs, when they're in wide areas, they have nobody to hit in the box.
Bartlett looking for Naz. It's back with Reading and Primer, who comes across square to Eitland. Nice footwork there from the Norwegian, just patient, not trying to force anything. And she's continued to run. Drop of the shoulder, trying to get in behind, but credit to Simonen. Didn't dive in, she was patient, nipped the ball away, but at the expense of a Reading corner. So we saw Spurs come out and rally, but Reading have responded really well here, Farah.
They have, and they've settled back in. Spurs come out, started well, had an opportunity to score, but Reading have just took control of the game again and seemed to be finding passes and getting into the final third really easily.
Bryson, the right back, who's come all the way over this far side to take the in-swinging corner. It's going away from goal. James helps it clear. It's going to be sent straight back in by Reading. Nice improvisation there. Trussell, goal! What a save from point-blank range. Becky Spencer, wow. Reading should be at least 1 or 2 further goals ahead, Farah Williams.
They should be. This is an unbelievable save here from Becky Spence. It's point blank. It's about 2 yards out from Trosgard has to score. For me on a Reading, they have to score that opportunity. But credit to Becky Spence, that is an unbelievable save, fingertip save to keep her team in the game.
I don't think it's the cleanest connection from the Dane, but yeah, she should be burying that, but full credits to the Spurs goalkeeper. James working hard over that far side, but Reading once again away with the ball. Neville tries to win it back, but Anna's done excellent work there.
There's just so much more commitment and aggression from this Reading team. Even on a clearance there from Spurs, the Reading players wanting to keep it alive, wanting to keep it in play, and Spurs are just plodding out.
We are seeing a bit more aggression, it has to be said, from some of the Spurs players. A few boos there, their player was just barged off the ball, but it's that competitive. That's perhaps the bite that Spurs were lacking in the first 45. It's been comfortable, it has to be said, for Reading. They deserve their lead, but Becky Spencer, has been keeping her side in the game.
She has. I read Kelly Chambers' notes in the programme before the game, and she said the Conti Cup game against Southampton has given her teams confidence. They performed really well in that game, come away with a 3-goal win, and I think, you can see in the performance today, they certainly took confidence from that, and the way in which they're playing is probably the best they've played in the WSL this season.
It's a great narrative, backs against the wall, lots of players down with flu, but it's been a work in progress this season for Reading. As you mentioned, Kelly Chambers has talked about finally having a fully fit squad back together, and once they are, then they have to deal with illness. It's many challenges that all elite athletes have to deal with, and elite managers, and her side certainly tactically and the execution out on the field has been near perfect so far. But they could have lived to rue some of those missed opportunities, Farah, as the game goes on.
They could, and I said it in the first half, they have to score another goal. It's not comfortable, although they look comfortable and they're controlling, the game. It's not comfortable. That 1-0 lead is not a comfortable enough lead for this Reading team. Spurs at any point have got the players in their squad capable of scoring in any moment or changing the game.
Spence. Ayan makes the run, too much on the pass, and that's going to be comfortable for Burns. Again, Reading so comfortable playing out from the back. Talked about their experience amongst the back line, but it's clearly the philosophy that Kelly Chambers is embedded into all of her squads. She talked about all those changes for the Southampton game, and she mentioned that she had a few selection headaches, even if she would have had a fully fit squad. So That's what all managers want, as players vying for position. Squad depth is really a huge advantage in the Women's Super League. That's nice there from Reading. Van Havenholt. Bryson was the only option over the right side. She is closed down by Neville. So far so good for the Reading fans who've come out in their numbers today. It's a bitterly cold afternoon, it has to be said, but oh yeah, we see Spears have made the journey as well, that young man. So far he's headed home disappointed, and it could be a huge boost for Reading in terms of closing out the year well in front of their own fans. But when the season does break over Christmas, just more points on the board and a better starting position come the new year. They still have one more game to play next weekend against the champions, so can't reiterate enough, 3 points today is huge, Farah.
I think they know that. I think they would have come into this game, last home game of the season, you know, not the start that they would have wanted to the WSL, but if they can get 3 points today, I think that's massive for them. You know, I don't think they'll go to Chelsea next week. They'll certainly go with a game plan and they'll be competitive, but they know they're honest players. They know Chelsea are still, you know, miles ahead of them in terms of the quality that they possess within their squad, and it's probably a game they don't predict taking points from.
As for Spurs, they came into this knowing 3 points could see them 5th in the table. Nazi's done well to keep that in play, so it's been a disappointing afternoon, perhaps summed up a bit there by Isles. Lack of ability to connect with a teammate there. It's just not been clicking whatsoever. And it is the sort of performance that, you know, when we see they put 8 past Brighton, obviously that was a freak fixture, it has to be said. Obviously, unfortunately saw the end of Oak Powell's time in charge of Brighton, but maybe that was a bit of an anomaly in terms of what we've seen consistently from Spurs. Reading, once again, driving forward. Rowe gets to the byline, stands up a great cross. Did really well to dig that out. Harries had already made the run at the near post.
It's just so easy for Reading. In everything that they're doing, it's just so easy. It looks, you know, even I'd question the fitness levels of this Spurs team, because, or it's just the intensity in which they're playing at. There's no change of intensity. That's a great delivery from way down that left-hand side on a weaker foot. But yeah, there's just no intensity to this Spurs play, and at times when Reading are in possession of the ball, they look like, you know, you could question their fitness levels.
Still a long way to go in this match. Still at least half an hour left, and it's going to be a set-piece opportunity for the home side. A goal to the goods, in control, it has to be said, in terms of what we're seeing going forward. They only seem to be the one who really threatening to add to the scoreline. Disappointing so far from a Tottenham perspective. Woodham and Bryson stood over the set piece. Woodham it is. Only half clears, good connection from Trosselsgaard, but just lacking the accuracy to trouble Becky Spencer. But you mentioned about too easy. Again, only Reading are alive to the knockdown, Farah.
Yeah, so Spurs win the first contact here, but as you mentioned, it's that second ball, and it's Spurs are so slow to react to it. Trosselsgaard hits one, everybody moves out of the way. It just needed a touch of ricochet and it could have gone goalwards.
Bartrip. It's going to be a disappointing return to Select Car Leasing Stadium from Ollie Bartrip, and her attempted ball out of defence. She got away with one there, helped out by James and Isle, and now it's with Neville. Gets a head up, moves forward in speed. Again, this is nice from Tottenham until they get into the crucial final third. Sadly for them, that little bit of quality just disappears. Potential offside there, but the referee's assistant is happy to let play continue. Dan Robinson over that far side. Simani finds Neville, a lot of space. Bryson's dropped off. Waiting for movement. I think that ball was actually intended for Ayan, who was further down the line. Neville wants to throw. Its decision's gone the other way.
It's just too slow from Spurs in that final third area, not moving the ball quick enough. Everything's in front of this Reading back line.
I think one of the stats Jeanette revealed before the game was Reading were the team who faced the most shots, but Spurs are the one who produced the least attempts on goal this season, and that's pretty much largely from a defensive point of view. Reading much better today, but Spurs are being Spurs, it has to be said, in terms of that final third.
This is very true. We haven't had a shot, have we, on goal? I don't think Burns had to make one save.
Can Tottenham change things? Isle moving forward at speed. Naz. I think even there, maybe she created a bit of space. Does she want to take the shot on? No, she doesn't. She's patient. Ayan on her left foot, trying to bend it. It's a difficult skill to execute. Credit her for trying, but just really poor quality in that final third.
It's here where Naz, she gets that half a yard, and you think, especially with the keeper unsighted, you'd like to pull the trigger. You'd expect somebody like Naz to do that, but she opts to make the pass, and Ayan, somebody is, given the opportunity to shoot, has taken a strike at goal, but way wide.
So Rianne Skinner, unlike her counterpart Kelly Chambers, has a range of options on the bench, and it looks as though she's going to be introducing some fresh legs to try and switch things up. And you see actually one of the Reading players as well is taking off a bib as well, so changes coming for both teams as we head into the latter stages of this game. Still Amy Turner's own goal in the 12th minute, separating the two sides. Isle wins the header. Neville gets there first. James. Spence. Nice dummy. Can Neville offer up the cross? She can. Spence. Oh, she just lost the footing at the crucial moment. It's just one of those afternoons for Tottenham Hotspur, it has to be said.
It's more ambitious from Tottenham. We see here a lot of Neville's delivery in, it passes by all of the Reading back line, and Drew Spence is a good touch, and she just loses her footing before she's about to strike. But certainly more commitment from Spurs in terms of bodies into the box to create a chance, but she just loses her footing as she's about to strike. And as you mentioned, when you're having one of those days, there's nothing worse.
Just a break and play here, because Jacqueline Burns is struggling there from the images you can see on your screen. She's taking a breather. You can see that Wellings is stripped off and ready to go. So she was another one who dropped out of the starting lineup following that 3-3 draw against Liverpool. So again, maybe she's only got 25 minutes, 20 minutes in her, but again, good options to continue pressing that Tottenham back line, Farah.
Yeah, and I think that's been the problem for Reading. We've seen Cooper had to come off at the half due to the illness. Wellings isn't starting the game because probably too ill to play the 90 minutes, but has got enough, for 30 minutes. But then it'll be interesting what sub comes off, because a couple of the girls have been in ill this week and have started the game probably a little less ill than the others, so they're giving it all that they can. So it'll be interesting who she replaces.
Yes, Kelly Chambers will be grateful of the week's break in between this and the next fixture. Chance to everyone hopefully to get themselves back to 100%, and then they close out the year with a League Cup game against Coventry. Thankfully for Reading, it looks as though Jacqueline Burns is going to be fit to continue. We are back underway. Evans looks down the line. Turner puts a forehead in the way. James asking a lot there of Spence, but she's a willing runner. on nicely. Trossard. Too heavy on the pass, and looks as though it's going to be a triple change from Tottenham, from what I can see in terms of movement down on that bench. But let's see how this attack plays out. You'd assume maybe some of those attacking options might be making way. Neville, the opportunity was there. She again was resistant to take it. Spence, and that's a tame effort. Wow.
Yeah.
Reading need to be careful here, Farah, because Spurs, we talked about their wayward finishing, but they are starting to create a lot more here.
They are, and they're taking risks, Reading, but when you're giving up opportunities like that, Neville's in a great opportunity to get a strike away, gives up the opportunity to strike at goal, and comes back to Drew Spence. And you know, it's a weak shot from the edge of the box from Drew Spence, but I would imagine she thought Neville would have took that on herself, so she probably wasn't set for the strike anyway.
So there's going to be a triple change here from Tottenham. You can see Harrop is going to be the first one of those changes. She's coming from for Isle. Visit is on for Naz. And Turner, the scorer of the own goal. She's replaced by Upagogu. Here come Reading once again. Dispossessed though, James. Spence has gone that sole striking figure at times, trying to push and break lines. Trossard in a foot race with Bartrip, but the Spurs defender does well. Just apologising to a goalkeeper, just saying, no, I didn't feel comfortable making that return pass to you. She opts to fine touch.
I think it's the correct decision from Bartrip. I think she's under pressure from Trossard behind, and the bounce, I think she had to hook that. I think, you know, playing back to Becky Spence in the ideal, you know, situation is what you would want, but I think, you know, defend your lines, and she did that really well. I think they're ambitious subs from Spurs. The subs that they brought on are really ambitious, and hopefully they can, you know, certainly attack with more intensity with the players that they brought into the game.
Trossard's gone down, play continues. Samanin, she does have options over her left-hand side. Maybe Ayan can see that, she does. First touch for Harrop. Nice build-up here from Tottenham. Harrop, can she send in a good cross? She can! Oh! And at the back post there. Well, those substitutes, Farah, have made an immediate impact, it has to be said.
They have, and it's a great delivery. You can see here, first time from Harrop, naturally left-footed, so can come onto it first time, whereas we've seen Neville and Ale that was down that left-hand side, right-footed players, but Harrop's come on and she's naturally left-footed and put a perfect delivery on, and it's great defending from Woodham at the back post.
To deny the fellow sub Visit. Corner headed clear. He'll be back with Tottenham though. Bartrip. Zadersky. James. Tries to send in another cross. Spence. Reading can't get anywhere near the ball at the moment. Best bit of spell all game for the visitors. Samanin. Neville, who's switched flanks now. But Trossard does well to ensure that ball doesn't meet it. Prime has shrugged aside. Tottenham beginning to dominate. Visit. This is so much better from Spurs in what, barely 2 or 3 minutes since those changes have been made. So much more life in their attack. There's lots of space here for Harrop to try and pick out a teammate. She goes deep to the back post. Samanin will keep that in play. Sends it straight back in. Cleared by Reading, not comfortably though. And it's going to be coming straight back here. They're under the cosh, Farah.
They are. You can already see the energy injected into the Spurs team with the 3 substitutions they've made, and Reading are starting to tire. They put a lot of work into this first 70 minutes, and you can see they are starting to tire Reading. So they have to stay focused and switched on and stay in the game.
Giving the ball to Zadirski. Can they get the cross in? It's back again with Harrop and that left foot, looking for Spence, who just had to adjust the body. It was behind her. She did well to even get it on target, but Reading, warning signs are there. They need to change things up themselves, Farah.
They do. You can see, and they probably haven't got enough on the bench to make those changes, but you can certainly see, I mean, this is the cross from Harrop, just behind Spence, who manages to get ahead towards goal. Quite a comfortable save for Burns, but going back to Reading, you can see Emma Harries is down. She's been ill. She looks to be the player that's being replaced, but it will be energy. They're lacking energy, and when when you're recovering from a flu or cold type symptoms, it's really difficult to go and play, a game of football. So I think Emma Harries has given her all here for 70 minutes, and Reading look to be replacing her.
She's just been instructed by the referee to go off via the far side. So Wellings is on the field to make way for the captain, who's going to make that journey past her own fans. And they've been very appreciative of her efforts. No goal, but a regular threat. A regular threat, and hit the target on a number of occasions. Especially if she's not quite there at full fitness as well. That is an impressive shift from the 20-year-old.
She's been very good. A proud moment for not just her, but her family. Somebody that's grown up through the Reading Academy from the age of 8 to lead the team out today. Will be a super proud moment for her.
And hopefully one that she'll remember for a big 3 points for her side as well. But Tottenham certainly looking to change things. But Trosselgaard's on the offence for Reading, and Bartrip comes across with a clean tackle. Question marks whether it gone out for a corner, but it's going to be a throw-in right next to that corner flag.
Good defending by Bartrip. Reads the ball in behind and clears their lines. Reading need to manage the game now. 15 minutes in the game, and maybe slow down and dictate the play. Not always 100 miles an hour.
Does it working hard for Spurs, but she's dispossessed by Primate. Wade trying to swing in the delivery. Looked like a clear corner there, but referee and his assistant disagreeing, so it's a Tottenham goal kick, and they are really going for it now, Spurs. A lot more urgency, which had been lacking, it has to be said, for the vast majority of this game. Bright start to the second half, then Reading begin to take control. But that triple change by Rianne Skinner has really livened things up out there. And you get the growing sense that they fancy themselves to come away with something here, Tottenham. Spence.
They're certainly pushing for that. More forward passes from Spurs in this second half, and certainly since they brought those 3 substitutions on.
There'll be another Tottenham change. It's the Pole. Kosescu coming on in replace for Rosella Ayan. Rianne Skinner exhausting all of her attacking options here as she tries to go and find, not a match winner, is it? Someone who can maybe salvage a draw, but there's still plenty of time for both sides to add to the scoreline, which is still Reading 1, Tottenham 0. Harrop tidying things up at the back. Spencer. Neville trying to flick it into the path of Bizet. Home side starting to look a little leggy out there, it has to be said. Reading a lot quick, so Spurs a lot quicker to those second balls, but here is Wade. Bartrip, excellent positioning.
They put a real big shift in, these Reading players. So you'd think, you know, coming to the 80-minute mark, they'll start to tire. But I still think they've had the better of the quality in the final third. Even in these moments now when you can see that they're leggy, you can see that they're tired, they're finding the better quality of pass. Spoke too soon there.
Woodham's throw just not quite coming off. Good old commentator's curse.
Yeah.
Bryson has time. Goes over the top. That's a tough ask there for Wellings. Substitute who's not had a touch of the ball, I don't think, yet. Reading again winning it back high up the field. It's with Bryson. Lovely bit of footwork there to create a crossing opportunity, and equally so a nice cushioned header from Spence, linking up well there with the substitutes. Bizet sees the space over the far side. Sumanen's flick on. Reading defender gets there first, but it's not a clear connection. So it does allow Spurs another opportunity here. Kosescu waiting for support, gets it from Harrop. Still no one really prepared to take on a shot from Tottenham. Harrop's delivery's been excellent since she's been introduced, but there's going to be a break in play with a Reading player on the deck, and certainly from a Keris Harry point of view, Farrow, why was she not starting in terms of her attacking forays and, more importantly, her quality with that final ball sending it into the box?
Yeah, I think she's been out with injury for a long time. I did see on a, you know, an Instagram post she's just returned to play after, you know, a lengthy time out, but naturally as she starts to get more minutes in, I'm sure she'll be a regular starter for this Tottenham team. And you can see why. I think she's already brought the quality to this team, you know, since her introduction. I'd like to go back to that challenge in the middle of the park with Drew Spence. It looked as if she stood on one of the Reading players, but I think she got away with one off the ball there.
Certainly the referee didn't see it, so play continues. And Tottenham still chasing an equaliser here. There's still time left in the game for them to do what they can to ensure that it's not back-to-back WSL defeats for the first time this season, and game management has to be key here from Reading, because the Tottenham subs have made a real difference here. Reading are managing relatively small squads, maybe some of them themselves not 100% out there. But so far they are clinging to 3 points and a much-needed clean sheet as well.
Big 10 minutes here for these Reading players, and as you mentioned there, I'm not sure the bench, if they've got enough to bring anybody on.
Santa's enjoying himself, I think it has to be said. Despite his colours, I'm pretty sure he's a Reading fan.
Yeah, in red. It looks like it could be an early Christmas present, couldn't it, for these Reading players if they get 3 points.
But it is that time of the year where games come thick and fast, and illness, and everyone's a little bit under the weather. Manager headaches in terms of squad selection, and again against the odds, if Reading can come up with 3 points, this could be huge motivation fuel for the home team and their attempts to try and get back up the other end of the table. They've got defending here, because Tottenham once again creating opportunities, and the shot is eventually blocked out the way there. Ubagagu, she's also been at the fore of things since being introduced as well. She was a bit reluctant to take on the shot initially, Farah.
Yeah, Ubagagu, she does well here. Tries to just get a yard on the defender, but Erklin does brilliant just to block the shot as she's hit it.
Sumanen. Tall Finn over the far side with the corner. Doesn't go much further than the near post. Ubagagu with the throw. Tottenham constantly asking questions here. Reading standing firm. Primer with the attempted flick on, doesn't come off. That looked a tired attempt there to try and help the ball forwards. And Spurs will start to grow in confidence that they can maybe get back into this game, but it's now Reading once again coming forwards. Wellings, she's going to have another chance to send in the cross. Shot across goal, was it? Spencer taking no chances. Neville can bring the ball away. Woodham intercepts. Samanen steps across. Spurs back in possession. Wellings uses a body well to roll the defender. But their effort won't trouble Becky Spencer. Bartrip. Plenty of space for Neville. Wade closes down. It's back in Wade's direction. She does really well to hold things up. Does she win a throw? No. It's a Tottenham throw. Neville wants the ball. It's behind it. Smanen's getting things back underway. Zadirski. Lots of space to run into. Woodham clears. Maitland does well there, just what you needed, a bit of composure on the ball. Beats a few players. Does she win the free kick? No. You can hear some of the analysts from the Reading backroom staff alongside us. They're getting frustrated because they can tell, Farah, that Tottenham are growing with confidence here.
Yeah, they are. They've certainly had more possession in the last 10 minutes. And they're making it hard. Reading have to defend. They have to, as I mentioned, they have to keep that concentration now for these last 10 minutes and really try and be disciplined with their positioning.
Neville can't find Samanen. No one really breaking forward for Reading. Trossard's got limited options. Wade was the only person she could really attempt to try and bring into the play. Bizet plays it down the line. It's back with Neville. She wins the free kick. Bartrip takes it quickly. Lots of space for Harrop. Neville's remains on the deck. Harrop swings in another good cross. But just what you want from your goalkeeper. Jacqueline Burns comes, claims my ball. And she's going to take all the time that she can with this. But
it's clever free kick from Bartrip. Took it early, seeing Reading were out of shape and you know, crossfield ball to Harrop, and again a really good delivery, but nobody's committing to it.
Looks like a bit of cramp there for Ashley Neville. Harrop once again showing her quality.
Yeah, another good delivery, certainly into a danger area, and Burns does really well to come out and collect it.
Just steps off the field, a few light stretches. She does look as though she's going to be okay to continue. Burns gets us back underway with just over 4 minutes of normal time remaining. Maitland looks over the far side for Welling. It's not the best ball for Charlie Wellings to try and bring under control. James. Nice body swerve. Evans clears. Here come Reading. Wade. One body to aim at. Bartrip cuts it out at the near post. Is that going to go out for a throw? Bizet will keep it in play. And she's able to bring her side forward, and so much space over that far side. It's with Harrop. Ugabegu sends in the ball, and it's a shot at the near post there. Kaseska, the Pole, with her first real impact on this game. Should she have done better for you there, Farah?
Yeah, well, I think Bryson initially should have done better blocking the cross. She was just a bit too far away and allowed the cross to come in too easily. It's a great save at the near post. It was point, but it was straight at her, but she's had to make the save, Burns. But yeah, on another day, that would have gone in the back of the net.
Tottenham corner to be taken by James. It's a poor one. Goes straight out for a goal kick. So, Farah, your Barclays player of the match, please.
So there's just a chance here for Spurs. Reading out to defend. I've gone with Lily Woodham. I think between her and Faye Bryson in that full-back position throughout the game, I think in and out of possession they've both done really well. But I think Lily Woodham's just edged it for me. Certainly in this second half, her defensive attributes have been fantastic.
Yeah, we've seen both aspects of a game, offensive and defensive. Will she be also revelling in a big 3 points for her side? Not if Tottenham have anything to say about it, because they are chasing this game. It's awfully stretched. Wellings does well. Eichland has options left and right. Trosselgaard square across the box. Wades dispossessed by Neville. But Reading do have it back. Van Havenhart breaks lines, crowds wanted to shoot. Wade, is just exhausted over that far left-hand side. She says, I can't make that run.
The idea is right, but as you say, they're legging Reading and certainly Wade down this left-hand side. We've seen it in the last 10 minutes. You know, she's putting in a shift for her team, but just ain't got the legs. And I'd have thought she would have took a strike there on the edge of the box.
Seska continues to work hard for Tottenham. She's been a clearer focal point, even, the number 9. There will be a Reading change as well. So Tia Primer it is, who's making way for Becky Jane.
Nice to see Becky Jane back on the pitch for Reading. She's been out for a long time.
An experienced head to help Reading in these closing stages, but the goalkeeper spilled it. Sumanen can't tuck it away. And there will be a minimum of 5 minutes added on here. And Reading are hanging on. Look to have another look at that bit of goalkeeping when we can, but Spurs continuing to press and ask questions of the Reading back line. Spence goes into the penalty area. Harrop will keep it alive over the far side. Bryson does well to not make it easy for her. She'll have to settle for a throw. It's actually a Reading throw. Let's have another look at this then, Farrett.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for Spurs. Burns should have caught this comfortably, and she's nearly gifted Spurs a great opportunity to get themselves back into the game. They got away with one there, Reading, and I'm sure Burns is delighted with that one.
It's great to see those 3 Reading players immediately, though, back behind a goalkeeper on the line, which would have made it difficult if Sumanen would have had a sight of goal. But Spurs are not done yet. They go low to the near post. Can it be a better ball this time? It's eventually cleared by Reading. Jane can't make it stick, though. Swung straight back in, and Bizet gets a shot on target. But they are clinging on to this 3 points by their fingernails, Farrah Williams.
They are, and it will be a massive 3 points for these Reading players, and they know that. And I think they put a massive shift in. Defensively, I think they've been excellent. You know, as you mentioned there, 3 Reading players behind the keeper when she fumbles that one. But they've done that all afternoon for each other. Their commitment to defend for each other has been excellent this afternoon.
Seems a long, long time ago, the 12th minute it was, that Amy Turner's own goal ended up in the back of the net. And it hasn't been like this for the vast majority. Any viewers who are joining us, it's been a very competitive game, but Reading have had the better of the ball. But certainly when Spears made a triple change with over 20 minutes to go, that's really shaken things up. They've looked a lot more adventurous. It's come, as it stands, a little too late. We've played 2.5 with that minimum 5 to be added on, and it's an obvious question, Farah. It's just about, obvious statement, sorry, game management from a Reading perspective. You cannot lose those 3 points here.
For sure, game management and clearing your lines, no risk. They've got no, you know, they've got to play with no risk for these next, you know, 2.5 minutes. Anything that comes their way, just get rid of, be competitive, fight for every first and second ball, and make it ugly. These last 2 minutes, they need to make it ugly.
Tottenham, who need to take risks. They're the ones currently going home empty-handed. Bizet. Attempted cross-field ball is deflected, and Burns just eats up a few more seconds. You can feel the anxiety in the crowd here, willing the referee's whistle to come, but there's at least 90 seconds, or just shy of that, sorry, just over a minute of normal time remaining. Jane trying to win Reading a throw, but she's pushed Tottenham back. That'll do. Tottenham have to go. They have to get the ball upfield. Zadersky, the Canadian, she's got her head up, she's looking for options. Samani. Space for Bizet. She's dragging out Woodham, dragging out wide Woodham. Can she offer up for a cross? Tough one for the goalkeeper, but does awfully well under pressure there. She was clattered by Kurescu, but the goalkeeper did a job, Farah, under immense pressure.
She did. That's an excellent take in the air. She's under pressure. She gets bumped in the air as well, that you can see here. She just gets knocked. I think is it Bart? I can't see who it is that goes into her, but she takes it really well and holds on to it. We've just seen her fumble the one before, so it's a fantastic take and gets her team a free kick and even more time for Reading to delay.
A few daggers there, I think, for Nicola Kaseska as well, the Pole who was challenging alongside her. I think it was definitely a ball that was there to be played from the striker. The goalkeeper stood firm, did her job, and she does get a free kick. Wellings. Nice footwork. She's heading for the corner flag. No desire to swing that into the box, and Spears know it. She's done awfully well there, and the referee's whistle blows to signify a huge 3 points for Reading. They moved 7 points clear of the drop. They're up to 10th, and it's just their second home win since January. Under extremely difficult circumstances. Flu has run right through the squad, but Farah Williams, those players have all stood up and been counted and worked away with a huge, huge 3 points.
It's massive, massive 3 points for Reading, and you can see the celebrations down pitch side. Right next to us, we've got, you know, the assistant coach has been watching from up here and, you know, jumping for joy, and it was a phenomenal performance, team performance from Reading, and certainly deserved those 3 points today.
Kelly Chambers full of smiles. I'm sure she had a few headaches last night, maybe a sleepless night in terms of selection. One of those changes was in goal, Jacqueline Burns, who was shaky at times but had a big moment in added time there where she caught the ball exceptionally well. Reading to a player, though, has been excellent. As for Spears, it's the first time they've lost back-to-back games this WSL campaign. Full time, Reading 1, Tottenham 0.
A huge 3 points there for Reading. Anita Asante alongside me watching, and look at Kelly Chambers, absolutely delighted, and so she should be. Her team put out an incredible performance under really difficult circumstances this week.
Yeah, that was a complete performance from Reading, you know, a game where they had to show a lot of character and resilience after having tough things happen to them, you know, players having the flu, new changes in the side, but they were brilliant from start to finish.
And absolutely delighted, as they should be. Of course, they had that cup win in the week. We heard pre-match Kelly speak about the fact that the team take confidence from that, and we saw that today. Whether it be the pace, the defence, they were absolutely phenomenal in what, like we say, has been a really tough week.
Well, I think we have to say that, you know, Emma Harries, as a young captain, really stepped up today, led from the front, and Lily Woodham, I thought, was superb today, alongside Bryson and the other fullback, the other side. Defensively, they were solid, they were there in important moments, they got up into the attack, and it was a collective quality performance from Reading from start to finish.
A good performance from them, but towards the end of the second half, the last 20 minutes, I want to say, Tottenham really did start to show a level of urgency. You could see that there was a triple substitution, and the impact was instant. We saw that.
Well, football's all about momentum, and obviously Reading were leading the game 1-0. Tottenham needed to find a way back into it to try and get a goal. So the momentum swung with them a little bit, and they were, you know, asking lots of questions of the Reading team and the defence, but they stood up to the challenge. They were there, they were backing up their goalkeeper Burns, you know, the defenders were making clearances and getting vital challenges, and that's what it's all about, especially when you're fighting to get points in this league.
When we were talking about this game, Anita, one thing we did say in terms of the defence for Reading, it was really important that they got that right today, because they are the team that have suffered the most shots from other teams in the league.
Absolutely, and they knew that, and they came out, effectively performed their game plan. They were solid, they backed up each other, they put in challenges where they needed to, and they joined in the attack, and you know, they deserved the goal. Although it was an own goal, they deserved it for all the hard effort and work they did to create chances on Tottenham today.
And we speak about a fantastic performance, but the performer of the game, Lily Woodham, wow,
thank you.
Fantastic stuff. And look at your face, the delight, we can see it there. Brilliant stuff, and a solid team, a solid performance from the team.
Yeah, I mean, we're buzzing, obviously. We needed those 3 points massively for us, and I think, obviously, you've seen from the team sheet and stuff, we've been hit with certain things, and it just shows the depth of our squad and stuff, and I think we've just performed really well. I think we definitely deserve the 3 points.
What's that been like, Lily, knowing that actually coming into this week, it's been challenging with the squad, people falling down with illness, having to galvanise as a team and come out here and put a performance out like this today?
It's always tough, because I think, obviously, you look at people that were playing still struggling a little bit, but I think it just shows the togetherness we have as a team is incredible. And I mean, the session we had before the game was just everyone around each other and everyone just getting each other going and ready for a massive game for us.
And a massive 3 points. It's going to give you such a boost, isn't it, as you move towards the rest of the fixtures for the rest of the season. And I just don't know what Kelly was saying to you at half time, you know, just to hold on to the lead.
Yeah, I think obviously we had a few more chances that we know we should score. And I think, we just showed again the last 20, fair play, they were on top of us and we just stuck together, defended balls in the box and just kind of, stuck to it.
And also, Lily, a level of fitness we saw from Reading that we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, Anita, we were speaking about just how fit they were.
Yeah, like how have you managed to get together and dig deep in even tough moments in the game today?
I think just in terms of us as a group, that's what we've always kind of been known for as Reading. We're workhorses and we high press and stuff, but I think obviously the girls that have come in have really taken that on board, and I think together we've just built each other up, and luckily today showed on the pitch.
Brilliant stuff. Well, you're the player of the match.
Well,
I'm not
very
going to ask you
much.
if you think you deserve it. You know,
Absolutely.
you know, but
Absolutely.
it isn't. Of course, it
Appreciate
gives you a boost as you move on as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, I'm just buzzing. Thank you.
No problem at all.
Thanks.
Take that. That's yours.
Cheers.
It's a bit heavy. Take it. Look, you're getting a cheer from the crowd. Absolutely well deserved. Fantastic stuff. Well done. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Brilliant stuff. That's Lily there. We can have a look at this table now, what that result means for the table. A huge win for them. They go up to 9th from 11th place. They're 7 points clear, as you heard there, from the drop. Leicester City, bottom of the table there, and Spurs, they stay there in 7th here. It's going to be an interesting run in now to Christmas and beyond in the new year, actually, Anita. And like we say, for Reading, that for them is a huge 3 points. They'll take confidence from that. And then for Spurs, unfortunately, you would think a game like this would have provided some momentum as they go on into their next fixtures.
Well, for Spurs, this is an opportunity missed. Leading into Christmas, they'll probably go away now, try to push the reset button and go from there. But for Reading, I know what it's like when you're sitting at the bottom of the table and you're thinking, don't want to get sucked into a relegation battle. So that's what it meant today, them celebrating the way they did.
Yeah.
Is that getting them off the bottom?
And we just saw pictures of Drew Spence there. There's so many chances for Drew. It's so unlike her to not be able to finish off certain chances. And it was just frustrating for her. We saw her drop to her knees a few times after missing.
Well, we mentioned Drew before the game started and the kind of influence she has. And she got herself into really good positions today and, slipped in vital moments. And that's football sometimes. But, Tottenham, they have a good squad. They got a good, blend of players and depth in the team. It's just about finding those, being more ruthless, I suppose, with those chances, and that will put them in a better position going into the new year.
Yeah, and they can take comfort in the fact, we spoke about the fact that triple substitution did actually have some impact, but they definitely need to have those kind of substitutions, have the impact and get the goals as well.
Absolutely. I think Keris Harrop coming back from her injury, you can see her experience showing. She was getting her high up the pitch and actually getting quality deliveries into the box. That's the main difference. Players are more likely willing runners and will make those runs into the box if they know the quality is coming in there. Kazuska on the other side and Bizet is also having an impact. As a manager, that's a good thing because you know that your changes are going to make a difference.
Well, let's take a look at the goal that was very early on in the first half that actually made all the difference, that got Reading their 3 points. It was an own goal, unfortunately for Tottenham, but a great one for Reading.
Well, we talked about this earlier, and again, it was from Tottenham's build-up play. They played into the numbers where Reading like to swarm in that midfield area, and it's a fantastic strike from Primer with a fingertip save, but this is a howler from Turner. She'll be hugely disappointed with that. As a defender, you've got to assess the danger there. Just put your head through it or your foot through it, get it out of that danger area, because they allowed Reading to follow up there and capitalise on a mistake.
When we're looking at some of the stats here, in terms of possession, it was pretty much even, but shots on target, it was Tottenham that had the shots on target, but they weren't able to convert those.
Well, you can create shots on target, but you got to be effective. I think Reading were the more effective side when they got into attack, and especially in transition. They win the ball back quickly from counter-press moments, get the ball out wide, had influential players that would put quality deliveries into the box. Tottenham, they got into some decent positions, but you never felt that they really believed it. Missing chances and decisions to take a shot on or pass the ball.
How does Kelly now bottle this? How does she bottle this feeling for her players, move this on, move it forward? Because yes, there are big breaks in the WSL, but she does need the momentum to keep going.
Absolutely, but for them, they've had a lot of trials, you could say, this past week, and they've shown resilience. They've shown they've got character in the team. They've got something that they can put in their back pocket now and go, you know what, that's what our identity, that's what we're about. Now we need to continue that into the new year and start every match with that kind of intensity.
Intensity and the confidence, and I guess for Spurs now, that's their second loss on the bounce now. Rianne's going to have to go back and have a good think about what that now looks like for her squad. What does she say to them?
Well, Tottenham, they're a side that have said they want to push the top teams, and consistency has been largely a problem for them. But again, they can't start slow. Playing away from home, you expect the home side to come out the more energetic, but you've got to match that first before you're allowed to play the kind of way you want to play. So she'll be just encouraging them for the way they finish the game. Where they were more solid.
Well, Anita, thank you for providing some heat for me today here at this stadium in Reading. And it doesn't end this WSL. We keep on going. Next week, we head to the Etihad Stadium. It's going to be a very exciting one, in Manchester derby. Don't know about festive goodwill or how much they'll be there, but we hope to see you there soon.